Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And on this episode today, we're going to talk about surviving the overthinking spiral, even when you know better. And here's what I mean. Maybe you have been automatically triggered into what I would call full on survival mode, okay? Where you have gone from zero to you are totally freaking out because maybe they haven't texted you back right away, or maybe they're not texting as much today, or they didn't send in the emoji that they usually do when they said good morning, or maybe you're just hanging out and they're a little quiet while you're watching, your show, and you are just go from 0 to 100 and you're thinking, I need to fix it. Or it might be something like, well, what do I need to say? Or did I say something wrong? Oh, I said it wrong. And now they're mad. And you ultimately in that moment feel like, I don't know what I did, but I just know that I need to make it better, right? And at the same time, you are a very independent person, right? You are often the one that people trust to fix things. I was talking with a client earlier and she's like, I have no problem being direct in my job. And she has a very, high level executive job, but somehow I have such a hard time saying what's wrong, right? Or maybe you have a job as a fixer, or you diagnose, or you manage. And yes, when you're triggered, it is so confusing because you feel so capable in your career. Your resume shows that. And at the same time, you feel utterly helpless when it comes to that anxiety or feeling that spiral, right? And it's like you just feel totally helpless. And you feel also like you're a totally different person. You're two different people at work versus in your romantic relationship. And this whole piece around feeling really capable and at the same time feeling really at the mercy of your anxiety it's kind of like gas and brake, right? It's so frustrating because you know a lot, you have done a lot, you've accomplished a lot, but all of that feels so foreign when the trigger is happening, right? And it is costing you 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, with ultimately, and especially if you are really dialed in here, you are with a partner that you know is good, right? They show up consistently for you. They are loyal. They show that they care, and you might be the drama, right? So if any of that felt familiar, then you're in the right spot. My name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping high achieving, high performing people, and your resume shows that are feeling really capable. You're really good at what you do. You're really good at your career. I'm thinking about my clients that are doctors and lawyers, and they have high level executive jobs. And while you are doing so well in that area, you feel, or academics, you feel like a totally different person the moment you feel triggered. And you know better, right? This person that you're with has shown you that they are a good partner, right? They have shown you again and again, and somehow seems impossible for you to not feel anxious, okay? So if that's you, you're in the right spot. And if you are enjoying this episode or any other episode, leaving the 5 stars means so much, y'all. Thank you for hitting the 5 stars. It takes 2 seconds and it just shows me, you're digging it. So thanks for doing that. So I want you to make sure to listen to this episode thoroughly, okay? I know you as high achievers, there are some of you, or most of you, that love to skip steps. And I really see this, especially when it comes to feeling better with anxious attachment. Skipping steps is what costs you a lot, right? To go from we just met into getting married, like there's this whole getting to know you period, and getting to see this person that's in front of you. Are they a good person? That whole piece around skipping steps, and I'll tell you, I was not the best at that, is really problematic. So please make sure to take each piece of the episode, listen all the way through. And I'm going to definitely talk about what's really going on when you're in that survival mode and the overthinking spiral. And at the same time, you know better. Like, you have an abandonment wound. You know that, okay, that you have this whole anxious attachment thing. But at the same time, you are really, in fact, knowledgeable about it, but nothing is really changing. Okay. So hang in there, and I'm going to show you how this showed up for me recently. And quick little brag here about one of my clients, we'll call her S. She was having such a big struggle with dating somebody new. When I look at my clients, they're either in a relationship, they're navigating some rocky points, or they're dating. And there was a lot that she's dating somebody new, and she was feeling a little jealous, right? She was feeling threatened by an ex. And let me tell you, when there is zero threat, there is literally zero threat, because the person she's dating is a widow. Okay? Literally, there is no other example of like this person, this ex is zero threat because they're not here. All right. And something that was really coming up for her was feeling like this jealousy, essentially feeling really jealous about this widow, this person that she's dating now, who is showing up for her, is really into her, is, showing possibility and following through with his words. And truthfully, we were talking about it, and this felt really familiar. She had a lot of jealousy issues with other exes and their partners. And at the end of the day, she is feeling so much more calm. She's feeling good and proud of herself. And I know that sounds silly, like, okay, well, yeah, this person's ex is not here anymore, but you'd be so surprised that this is not the thing, that's not the reason why. And I say this because I have some other clients that jealousy is a definite thing, like this retroactive jealousy, where I was thinking about another client where this boyfriend made a meal, and the meal was a special meal. Like, he made her this amazing meal, and it turns out it's like his special dish, and he's made it for other people. And she was like, oh my gosh, and feeling jealous when those relationships aren't even existing anymore, right? So I'm just saying that because jealousy is a hallmark of anxious attachment. And she's feeling so much more calm, so much better, and so proud of herself by not letting the overthinking get in the way. Because her partner's grief is real, and it's existing, and he's grieving the loss of this partner. He had a wife, right? And so it's been really amazing to see her feel so calm and open up that space in her heart and feel less anxious. So super proud of you, S. So I was thinking about this whole piece around surviving the overthinking spiral. And for me, there was some family drama going on, okay? Some family drama. And I noticed in myself this old habit of thinking, did I do something wrong? Like, am I to blame here in some way? And immediately thought and recognized I didn't do anything wrong here, right? Instead, I really chose in the midst of this family kind of tussle to stop, drop, get grounded, and fully believe that it's not about me. Sometimes it's just not about me. And this is exactly what I want to talk about today, because if you have a tendency to automatically have a reflex that, oh my gosh, what did I did something, like, okay, they're being quiet, they didn't text, what did I do wrong? Or, like, how could I fix this? Then this is going to be great for you. All right. So there's a pattern. And if you are new here, or if you're not new, you know that this is all about a pattern. Anxious attachment is literally, when I think about how to navigate out of that, it is changing and breaking your habitual patterns. So the big loop here can look like, I just need a little bit of clarity, right? I just need some reassurance that we're good. I just need to know so I can relax, right? You just need to have them text back. You just need to have them, whatever the thing is, like, hold your hand, right? I know that sounds silly. A client of mine told me this last week. So the piece that I think can cause a lot of internal conflict is understanding feeling and being fully secure versus anxious isn't about the absence of clarity, right? Secure people who are secure definitely have thoughts, have emotions, and sometimes behaviors that aren't in this experience of I just, right? Like it's a difference between knowing versus being or performing, right? So when you are feeling fully secure, you're not asking this question of I just need a little bit of this. I just need a little bit of that. If they just did, like just is a kind of a good word or an indicator or a verb that indicates to me a lot of anxiety a lot of times, right? So most people that are secure, right, they aren't in this mode of survival, okay? And that's kind of the irony, I think, that the anxious pattern perpetuates, it gets stronger, it reinforces this by operating from, I just have to survive this, right? Like it'll just get better. If we can just make it to the weekend or make it to Sunday after this fun weekend, it's going to be, I just have to get through it, right? Or I have to just get through this fight. I have to get through our disagreement, right? Versus there's something coming up inside me, right? There's something happening for me. And this is, I think, the difference that anxious people misunderstand that secure people don't have negative things happen to them. In fact, that's an unrealistic standard. Of course, people who are secure meet people who are maybe not as communicative, or maybe are a little avoidant, or maybe fill in the blank. And it's not that they don't have bad things happen to them. When you are fully secure and fully confident, you are able to navigate and move forward and feel at peace no matter what is happening in your relationship, no matter whether they're texting or not. Your secure people are going along their day, right? And when I think about I have to just survive this overthinking spiral, literally the answer is in that phrase and I mentioned this earlier with my family, and my family members and the situation didn't change. In fact, this is like old news. It's a pattern that my family has. But what did change was me. I changed. The way I would perceive things was how I changed, right? And there is this inevitable piece that I see when we constantly are thinking, okay, I got to just survive this, right? It'll just get better if I get their text, or it'll get better if they just tell me they love me one more time, right? That the inevitable thing that happens is that when we try to navigate anxious attachment with a survival mode of operating, survival mode does not give a lot of space for connection and love, right? Or growth, to be quite honest. So imagine growing a garden without enough water, right? No sun, like it's not even like good soil, it's just sand. Nothing's going to grow. It's like a barren wasteland, right? Nothing's going to survive in that type of environment. So another example could be like, what kind of delicious meal can we actually enjoy when we don't even stock our own pantry? I was, in fact, thinking through this analogy, and tell me if this lands, you can DM me, but it's like asking somebody to text you faster, asking somebody to text you faster is like wanting DoorDash and complaining that the DoorDash isn't coming, or I'm spending so much money on DoorDash. But then you look in that person's fridge, and that person's fridge and pantry are empty, right? Like, hello, yeah, no wonder you don't have any money. Yeah, no wonder you are not feeling good about your body, because you're not even stocking up your own refrigerator, right? And this is oftentimes like when we are in that survival mode with the other person, we're trying to get their reassurance. We just would feel better if they could just do this. That's like you're treating them like DoorDash. You're not going to feel good about your body. You're not going to feel good about eating out all the time. You're not going to feel good about your bank account, because you are looking for something outside of yourself to feel better, right? So this is a hard truth, all right? So if you are operating in that overthinking spiral with I have to fix it, you are not trying to understand them or understand yourself. You're actually just trying to stop feeling uncomfortable, right? And it becomes about your own comfort, and it becomes honestly a little self-centered. It's about not like centering yourself like in a good way, but like you become self-centered where this is about the me and not about the we, right? It becomes about what you need versus about being in partnership. All right. And I'm huge on that, right? So much of my approach to anxious attachment is really shifting you into true partnership. All right. That it's not just about you, it's about both of you. And you might even say like, I want partnership. Hell yeah, I want that. That's like, I want to be in partnership. And we want somebody that's fully in it with us. We want somebody that can show up. But when we act from this pure survival mode, it makes the whole foundation, right? It's like trying to, you're drowning in water, but then you're clawing at the lifeguard, right? Somebody's trying to help you, not even the lifeguard, like somebody's trying to help you and you're clawing them down too. It's like, I'm not a lifeguard, actually. Craig probably has more. He used to be a lifeguard for a long, long time. But like, that's one of the most dangerous things about being a lifeguard is that literally the person drowning will take you down because they're just trying to survive. They don't want to drown. They're scared of drowning, right? So when we are acting from, I just have to survive this, that is taking the relationship down, right? And it's the whole relationship is going to feel unstable. And one thing that I just want to point you towards, like I want to give you a bit of like hope with this, is that when we are in this mode of having to fix it, when you're honestly, you're not really trying to understand them and you're trying to feel like you're able to see your own discomfort and shift it. When I look at my client S, for example, it's that when this changes, you stop from survival where, oh my gosh, and there's just all this like franticness and you're feeling really frenetic and this like clawing and I just need you to do this XYZ. That when you can navigate away from that, that's when your relationship feels so much better. And that's when you start thriving and you start trusting and things feel much more safe. So it's literally just identifying, oh my gosh, I am acting from a place of survival and that's why it's feeling pretty rough. So I hope that gives you some insight. And I wanted to shift to a little Q&A today. This popped up and I felt like this was really accurate for today and I thought it might serve you. So, how do I not worry about what they're going to say? So I sent a message about a big conversation and they did not respond back yet. It's been 9 hours. What do I do? Okay. So again, you can kind of see like this, I got to know what the answer is. And this is not about getting an answer. Okay, I just want to orient us to that. This is not necessarily about getting an answer. It's about your relationship with discomfort and silence. And this is a very confusing thing because especially in this day and age, we often confuse constant access with intimacy. Okay, and I can tell you something. I have personally experienced this, and I see this a lot, where you can talk a whole lot about nothing and not have intimacy and have deep connection. So this is not about necessarily what you're getting from that. Because I mean, like really, you think you're building intimacy and connection from a good morning, babe? Like I realized this for myself when I was dating the guy that was so good about doing that. And I was like, oh yeah, he's so wonderful. We went on a trip together and it turns out he was texting good morning, babe to so many people. Like he was, it didn't mean anything to him. So when I see that, this is less about actually the texting or the reassurance, and it is more about your ability and relationship with discomfort and silence. Constant access doesn't mean that you're close, right? Doesn't mean that you are feeling intimate or there's a big, deep connection. And I also want to point out that getting an instant answer does not help anxiety. It actually rewards it. I'm going to say that again. Getting an instant answer or something, some kind of reassurance is not going to help with anxiety. It reinforces it because your brain literally says, see, panicking, I panic and I demand an answer and it worked. Look, Eureka! Let's do that again. And that's why I really see anxious attachment as a behavioral cycle, as a pattern, right? Then there's a lot of complexity there. But I am hoping that that gives you some insight. And a hard truth, again, is that a lot of people stay here much longer than they expect. And it has nothing to do with how smart you are, how successful you are, or how hard you work. This is just about basically a bad habit. And that's how I see anxious attachment. And I have a slot this month for one-on-one coaching. So if you are interested in that and you're really ready to break that cycle and you don't want to lose a good partner, then check out the link below. And I'm thinking of you all, sending you lots of love. Mwah.